So I am working on a super easy, super simple weeknight meal called California Skillet. Somebody asked me for like a 5-ingredient recipe. This one is 7 ingredients, so I mean, it's not too bad, but it's super, super simple. And yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. So in my skillet, I already have 2 pounds of ground beef working. I'm actually doubling this recipe, so if you were just doing this for like 2 people or so, then just do 1 pound of ground beef. But anyway, I have 2 pounds of ground beef working, and it's just about done. So now to it, I'm going to add in some of my ingredients over here that I have perfectly mise en place. Mise en place basically just means everything in its place. And if you don't cook like this, I'm telling you, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. I know it looks like a lot, but it's not. So a lot of people will like try to chop up their veggies while they're trying to like cook up the ground beef and all of that. Yeah, but now your ground beef is like burning. You got your veggies that are like half chopped, and it just starts to be a mess. So get everything all ready together, and then you can just kind of dump and go. So anyway, to my skillet, to my 2 pounds of ground beef, I'm going to add in my 1 large diced onion and my 1 large diced bell pepper. Alright, so I've added in my 1 large diced onion and my 1 large diced bell pepper, and I'm just going to cook this for about 3 to 5 minutes just until your veggies start to soften. You don't want your veggies to cook all the way through because we're going to take this whole skillet and bake it in the oven, and if they cook all the way through now, then they're just going to turn mush in the oven, and you don't want that. Speaking of baking this in a skillet, if your skillet is not oven proof, then don't put it in the oven. But seriously, you're going to need to take all of this and then dump it into a casserole and then bake it in the oven. Okay, so our bell peppers and our onions have been cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes or so. So now I'm just going to start adding in the rest of my ingredients. So I'm going to add in my bouillon cubes. I like to kind of crush those up and get those distributed all throughout my ingredients. Oh, I did forget to tell you that I did season my ground beef with a little all-purpose seasoning that I got from Big Toe Seasoning, and I will tag them so you guys can go grab some of that. Alright, so I've got my bouillon cubes. Again, I used 5 beef bouillon cubes. If you're doing just a single recipe, you're only going to use like 2. If you like it extra beefy, use 3. I may throw an extra one in here just because I like it to be flavorful. So to this, I'm going to add in my 2 cans of Rotel. If you're not a big fan of Rotel, then just use diced tomatoes and add your own seasoning and spices. It's fine. And then I'm going to add in my rice. Oh, big shout out to my 10-year-old niece who is like doing a killer job filming this video right now. Aaliyah, you're the best. She believes in auntie. Thanks, baby girl. I think it's because we share the same middle name. That's why she loves me so much. Alright, ooh, this is looking so good. Ooh, it almost looks like it could use a little more rice. I told you guys I like mine extra ricey. Let me see. Alright, so I added in a little more rice. So total, I probably have about 2.5 cups of rice in here. Again, I like mine with a lot of rice. So if you don't like a lot of rice, or if you're trying to be healthy, then don't use as much. Also, if you were trying to be a little healthier, you can definitely make this with ground turkey or ground chicken and use brown rice instead. Alright, so this is looking wonderful. To this, I am just going to add in my water. Make sure that you really stir to incorporate all of the ingredients really well. You want to make sure that that rice is coated with all of that good beef fat and that all of the good flavors are kind of melding all together. Alright, now I'm just going to add in enough water to barely cover the ingredients. I don't know if you guys can see. It's going to be a little bit more. A little bit at a time. You can always add more, but we can't take it away. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Almost there. thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 2 cups of shredded Monterey Jack cheese. I have another bag that I'm going to actually sprinkle on top when it's about done because I like mine cheesy. So here is another area that you can lighten it up if you'd prefer. If you don't want to use as much cheese, use half the amount. This is totally up to you guys. We like it cheesy around here. All right. Once that gets all mixed in, all I'm gonna do is put my lid on it and I'm gonna bake it in the oven. It's gonna take about 30 minutes or so, just basically for the rice to absorb all of that liquid and for it to be nice and tender and fluffy. And after that, it is good to go. Like I said, I am gonna add some more cheese to it, and I'll do that like the last 5 or 10 minutes of the baking process. And then I'll actually broil it so that the top gets all nice and crusty and golden brown and delicious. All right guys, so our California skillet has been cooking in the oven for about 20 minutes. And so what I did was I pulled it out, gave it a stir, and I tasted some of the rice to see if it was done, and it wasn't quite done all the way. Again, I put extra rice in mine though, so I knew mine was gonna take a little bit longer. So I actually added in just a little bit more water, and then I also seasoned it with a little bit of salt. So just do your salt to taste. So I'm gonna mix that back up. I'm gonna put my lid back on, and then I'm gonna bake this for about another 10 or 15 minutes or so, again until my rice is completely tender and all the way done. Just a little reminder, your skillet is super hot, so the handle is super hot. Please, please, please be very careful. Make sure that you are using something to protect yourself when you are removing the lid and holding the handle, because this just came out the oven. Guys, this smells so good. I am so ready to eat. So it's almost ready. So now we have to add on our extra cheese. So I have 2 more cups of cheese. So total, I used 4 cups of cheese. But again, I doubled my recipe. I'm going to even that out. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, if you really wanted to make this a super quick weeknight meal, instead of using regular rice, use minute rice. I love minute rice, actually. And I quite often make this recipe with minute rice. I just happen to have some regular rice available, so I use that. But if you're using minute rice, this can be done in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's completely ready to go. Because as soon as the rice is done, then you can bring it out the oven. Add in the rest of your cheese on top. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Cover it really good. Now I'm going to broil this without the lid on because I want the cheese to melt and get all golden brown and bubbly. So I'm going to turn my oven on broil. And watch your food whenever you are broiling something. Y'all, it will go from 0 to hero real quick, especially if it's like bread or something like this. This should take about 5 minutes to broil and to get all perfect. All right guys, so our California skillet is finished, and y'all, it looks delicious and it smells amazing. So yeah, all you have to do is serve this up. I like to serve mine sometimes with a little sour cream, maybe a little salsa, and Doritos or tortilla chips or something like that. Yeah, you have a super easy, super simple, super delicious weeknight meal that I know everyone in your family is going to love.